Here's Bill Reiter, our guy jumping aboard saying hello. Okay, translate what I just saw here.
Well, other than the fact that the Bucks couldn't play offense or defense, got posterized repeatedly, turned the ball over consistently, had their stars not show up, it wasn't the worst performance I mean, that is look, the first loss of the series is what it was. They didn't shoot well, but they relatively played well. This was an utter embarrassment. Chris Middleton continues to be terrible. Giannis was hesitant. This is a Bucks team that was the 5th best three-point shooting team in the NBA over the course of the regular season. That is 25% from the three-point line so far in this series. They were a top 6 offense. They scored, 86 points in this game. They were a top 7 defense. They gave up 125. This was an utter embarrassment.
Okay, what's the, ripple effect from this? You've been covering this game for a long time. Is this just, okay, no big deal? Momentum's the next day starting pitching, said however you want in a basketball parlance, or do you say, no, this is a message that now will show up in Game 3 or Game 4 or Game 5?
Oh, it's a very big deal. And I think we're going to learn a lot about the Milwaukee Bucks in that Game 3. The old cliche goes, no series really begins until a team loses at home in the playoffs. Well, at this rate, that's going to begin in a couple days. Mike Budenholzer is on the hot seat. Chris Middleton has wanted to be the number 2 guy on a team. He's playing like the number 11 guy. And even Giannis, who has been great over the last few years, for the most part in the postseason, when the role players and so-called stars around him haven't stepped up, just didn't play well, was tentative, and even defensively got owned by Kyrie and Durant a few times. I think the Bucks need to see, we all need to see, whether they're capable of responding. They got to hit open shots. They got to play better defensively. They've got to have some belief, and their star player in Giannis Antetokounmpo has to assert himself at least for a while until those things happen.
All right, so now we look and say we're going back to Milwaukee, right? A lot of people say it's not a series until the home team loses, because if Milwaukee wins at home and then the Nets win at home, next thing you know, it's Game 7, 5 minutes go, all tied up, and anything can happen. Do you believe Milwaukee is still in this series?
Yes, but my belief has been severely tested. This is still a team that's got a 2-time MVP. I've seen Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday play well over the course of the season, and we just got done, EK, all of us here on CBS Sports HQ and just sports fans in general, watching the Mavs win the first 2 games in LA against the Clippers and then lose that series in 7. Absolutely anything can happen. But the reality is that the Bucks don't look like the Bucks at all, and the Nets look like the team that their believers thought they were going to see, and they don't have James Harden. So do I think Milwaukee can win the series? I do. Am I going to bet any more money on the Bucks in this series? I'm not, at least until I see them show some signs of life.
Yeah, look, I heard Phil Jackson say this once, and I went, wait, yeah, he is right, I guess. You go up 2-0, the other team has to win 4 out of 5, or you win the series. So right now, the Bucks have to win 4 out of 5, or this series is over. Can anybody beat the Nets 4 out of 5 in any sample size, let alone the Bucks here?
I mean, not the way that they're playing. I'm not sure that Philly can. I think the Sixers can if Joel Embiid is healthy, but he's got to be able to play through and remain healthy through that meniscus tear, not just this series against Atlanta. They got to win that series. He has to stay healthy through a series, in theory, against Brooklyn. I don't think Utah can do it. It's hard to get my mind around the Suns. I mean, no, I think 4 out of 5, no. I think that's a really, really difficult task. You want to win one of the first 2 games if you're playing Brooklyn, because the reality is they really haven't been tested. They really haven't got punched in the nose. They really haven't had any adversity. So whether or not they can handle that adversity is hard to tell. Whoever they've rolled out, whether Durant plays and the other 2 guys don't, whether Harden plays and the other 2 guys don't, now that it's Kyrie and KD, whatever it's been, for the most part, this has been a pretty dominant basketball team that's continued in the postseason. No, you can't beat these guys 4 out of 5 because you need to make them feel you a little bit. You need to put some pressure on to see whether they're going to crack.
You got a lot of people saying, oh, well, had they not signed James Harden, Kyrie and KD were not good enough to win a title. Well, maybe they weren't good enough to win, all the games you would need to win a title. They were good enough tonight without James Harden. They were good enough in Game 1 without James Harden. What do you see with James Harden going forward? I mean, this is a hamstring injury. What do we know? When will we know? And do you expect this to be something that is an issue as long as the Nets are in the playoffs?
By the way, I was one of those people who quite confidently pronounced that KD and Kyrie could never win an NBA championship.
But we don't know that you're wrong. I'll be fair to you. We don't know you're wrong. All we know is that they can come out and have 2 really good nights. There's a difference between coming out and smacking a team around twice versus closing the deal and winning 16 times or whatever you have to win against several different opponents. So I'm not going to say you're wrong.
I'm not either, but I am writing the mea culpa for the radio show just to prepare, because it's certainly it's in the realm of possibilities. Here's the advantage I think they have. James Harden injury does not sound like it's good talking to people. It's not a season ender. It may not even be a series ender. People are being pretty guarded. The reality is, and this is the benefit of having these guys, you keep winning basketball games like they have. You don't have to rush Harden. You don't have to put him out there under duress. We saw the Lakers do that with Anthony Davis. It did not end well. I think we're seeing the Philadelphia 76ers do that at least to a degree with Joel Embiid. I hope it ends well, but we'll see. So the reality is, EK, I don't think we'll know the answer to that question until somebody challenges these guys without Harden. They have the benefit of being able to sit him down and be cautious with that hamstring injury because KD and Kyrie are stepping up.
Well, right now, you can certainly see that cautious they can be because Milwaukee is not yet even in this series, and it is already 2-0. So how's it going to go going forward? Let's take a look and see exactly how we are with the rest of this series. You see the schedule here. You got to start looking at that. When you're at Game 5, if necessary, and we're all going, yeah, maybe it won't be. I don't know. We'll see. But Milwaukee goes back home. If I'm a Bucks fan, I say, hey, it's not a series until the home team loses, and we haven't lost at home yet.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.